They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but this one whispered just one. Run. I found the photo at a garage sale, buried under a pile of old books and National Geographic magazines from the 80s. It was black and white, printed on thick matte paper. It showed a girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old, standing in the middle of a field with her hands behind her back. She was smiling, but the more I looked at it, the more I noticed something was wrong. Her smile wasn't innocent. It was too wide, too deliberate. Her eyes looked straight through the camera, and behind her, hidden partially by the long grass, was a figure, just a silhouette, crouching. I asked the woman selling it who took the photo. She frowned. That wasn't in any of my boxes. She let me keep it for free. That night, I placed the photo on my bookshelf. I don't know why. Something about it intrigued me. But then things started to go wrong. My cat vanished. I heard scratching in the walls. The thermostat stopped working. The temperature kept dropping. At night, I would dream of the girl standing at the foot of my bed, smiling, whispering a single word over and over. Look. So I did. I took the photo down and examined it under a bright light. That's when I saw it. The figure in the grass wasn't just crouching. It was reaching for the girl. Its face was pale, and its fingers were long and boneless. Its eyes were stitched shut. I turned the photo over. In faded ink, it read, "Do not bring her home." I burned it that night, but the next morning it was back on my bookshelf uncut, unburned, and the girl's smile was bigger. She's not in the photo anymore. She's in my hallway. Every night I see her get closer. First the stairs, then the kitchen, then the doorway. She never stops smiling. And now I wake to find new photos scattered across my bed. All of them show me sleeping. She's in every corner. If you ever find a photo of a smiling girl in a field with something hidden behind her, burn it before it smiles back. It started with a knock that echoed inside my skull, 3 soft taps on a door that no longer existed. I was 12 when the fire took our home. Everyone said we were lucky to survive, but I never believed that. What survived with us wasn't just smoke in our lungs or trauma in our minds. Something else escaped that night, something that doesn't like being ignored. After the fire, we moved to a quiet neighborhood outside town, into a house that smelled like dust and disuse. I kept waking at 3:03 a.m., always the same time, always to the same sound. Knock, knock, knock. At first, I thought it was the pipes or the creaking of the old wooden house. But then I noticed the knocks were too rhythmic, and they were coming from inside my room. I'd lie frozen under my blanket, heart racing, staring at the closet. It had no door, just a dark rectangular hole with peeling white paint. The knocks would come again, always 3, always from the closet. I told my mom, and she smiled too easily. "You've been through a lot. Your mind is healing." But then I started hearing breathing, not my own, heavy, ragged, wet. I recorded it with my phone, played it back during the day to show someone. Nothing, just silence. So one night I stayed up with a flashlight and a kitchen knife. When the clock struck 3:03, I turned on the flashlight and walked toward the closet. Knock, knock, knock. I stopped. "Who's there?" I whispered. Silence. I raised the knife and peeked inside. empty. But then something exhaled behind me. I spun, flashlight shaking, but the room was empty. I thought I was going crazy until my little brother screamed the next night. He'd started hearing the knocks too. Only his came from under the bed. We tried sleeping in the living room. The knocks followed. We tried staying up all night. Still came. It got worse. Our dog was the first to go. We found him in the hallway, twisted like a wet towel, every bone in his body broken, eyes wide and mouth open like he saw something too terrifying to bark at. Then my brother stopped speaking. He just sat at the kitchen table and stared at nothing. When I touched his shoulder, he said only one thing: "It's wearing your skin now." That night I heard my own voice whispering my name from inside the closet. I left, ran, slept in a bus station. But even there, at exactly 3:03 a.m., the lights flickered and I heard it again. Knock, knock, knock. It doesn't care about where you are. It follows. It learns your voice, your footsteps, your thoughts. And if you answer the knock, it comes inside. I don't know how much longer I can resist. The landlord smiled too much when I asked about room 6B. When I moved to the city for work, I didn't have much money, so I took the cheapest apartment I could find. It was a run-down building with flickering hallway lights and a smell like mildew and forgotten time. But the room was clean, the walls freshly painted, and the rent unbelievably cheap. The old man who owned the place leaned in and said, "Just don't ask about the one next door. 6B. I laughed. He didn't. There's nothing funny about it. I didn't listen. 3 nights in, I heard something through the wall. At first, it sounded like whispering, then scratching, then sobbing. I knocked on the wall. The sobbing stopped. I knocked again. Something knocked back. The next day I asked the landlord again. He avoided my eyes. No one has lived there in 15 years. Not since she disappeared. She? He nodded slowly. Girl named Eliza. Rented it when she was 18. Last thing anyone heard was her screaming that someone was living in her mirror. That night, I went into the hallway and peeked under 6B's door. Something peeked back. Its eyes weren't human. They were wide, wet, and too deep. I ran back to my room and locked the door. But the knocking didn't come from next door anymore. It came from inside my bathroom mirror. Every night since, I see her face in the glass. Not her whole face, just parts. An eye, a mouth. A hand pressed flat against the other side, as if trying to reach through. Sometimes she whispers. Sometimes she screams. I tried moving out. I really did. But now every mirror shows her. Even the ones in hotel rooms, rest stops, even in car rearview mirrors. She says my name now. She wants to trade places. She says she'll be quiet if I just say yes. Don't ever rent room 6B. Don't ever look too long into a mirror. You might not like what looks back. The first time I saw her, she was standing barefoot in the middle of the highway, wearing a yellow raincoat under a cloudless sky. It was a dry evening, no rain, not even a whisper of a breeze. I was driving back from my grandmother's old house, which I had just finished packing up after her passing. The highway cut through the middle of nowhere farmlands and silence stretching in every direction. Then I saw her, a little girl, no older than 10, standing in the center of the road. I slammed the brakes. Tires screamed. My heart nearly burst out of my chest. I stopped just inches from her. She didn't flinch. She wore a yellow raincoat, one of those old-fashioned types with the big buttons. Her face was hidden by the hood. She wasn't crying, she wasn't scared, she was just staring. I rolled the window down cautiously. "Hey, are you okay?" She turned slowly to face me. Her skin was pale, unnaturally pale, eyes sunken, lips bluish. But she smiled. "Can you take me home?" she asked. A chill ran down my spine. I guess," I stammered. "Where do you live?" She pointed straight ahead, just down the road. I hesitated, but I couldn't just leave her out there. So I unlocked the door. She climbed in silently and buckled up like she'd done it 1,000 times. We drove. 5 minutes passed, 10, 20. "Are we close?" I asked. She didn't answer. I glanced at her. She was staring out the window, humming a tune I couldn't place. Something felt wrong. The air in the car was cold. The temperature had dropped drastically. I looked at the rearview mirror and froze. There was water dripping from her seat. No rain, no puddles. Yet a small pool was forming beneath her, soaking the floor. "What the hell?" I muttered. She turned to me again. This time her smile was wider, almost forced, like it was holding something back. "You missed the turn," she whispered. I didn't see any turn." "You missed it," she said again, voice deeper now. Too deep. Suddenly the radio turned on by itself. A burst of static, then a voice. "Turn back." I slammed the brakes. We skidded to a stop. "Get out," I said. She didn't move. "Get out," I shouted. She looked at me. Her eyes were no longer sunken. They were black, solid, endless black. I jumped out of the car, heart racing, and ran around to open her door. She was gone. The seat was soaked, but empty. I searched the surrounding fields for hours, called the police, filed a report. They found nothing, no footprints, no evidence of anyone walking on the road. A week later, I visited the local town hall, still shaken. An old woman at the front desk saw the sketch I had with me, the girl, in the raincoat. Her face went pale. "She's back?" the woman whispered. "What do you mean?" "She drowned 30 years ago, in the river just off that highway, caught in a storm. No one could find her body for days. When they did, she was still wearing that yellow coat." She paused. "People say she waits on the road, tries to get home. I left town that same day, but I still see her sometimes in my dreams, standing in the middle of a dry road, dripping wet, humming that same cursed tune."